This nibble originally aired on RSBANDB Update, episode 831, Warden on the Warpath. Enjoy. I ran around for 2 minutes around the archaeology campus with my head cut off like a chicken because I thought, is this it? Am I done for this week? And I checked the mini-quest journal, and, there's nothing else to complete. And this was... I want to address this before we get into the lore side, because we also have some further lore that piggybacks off this. But in general, this is a compartmentalization of this content that will be dropping out week by week. And the biggest complaint that I heard, especially from some of the podcast listening community, is that it's like, is that it? We're doing this week, and then this again, something similar size next week, and so on and so forth. And this really spurred some uncomfortable questions, I think. And I this is another thing, Tanis, you and I talked about, is that this, looking at this, is this something that is going to become a trend going forward in the future? Because if you look at this kind of interaction of a 12 to 15 minute mini quest or playtime session is exactly the interaction model that you want for a mobile game when you're effectively selling mobile to your new customers. Oh. So what I'm wondering with this, and I don't know exactly why it was split apart as to why we couldn't just go into the next stage, or maybe other stuff wasn't ready, or maybe there was a content delay, or maybe it was just decided to effectively to chop this mini quest up into effectively 10-minute segments over the span of the next 3 weeks following from this. Is that, on the flip side, for somebody who is skeptical and looking at this from a business lens, this looks like an awful lot like an A/B test for slicing up updates in terms of playability aimed at a mobile audience. And that's something that Tanis and I also had rumbling in the back of our minds with this.
Interesting.
Because imagine you do this for another quest, is that, hey, this week, imagine if Oz and Audra's quest came out and they chopped that up into 3 or 4 releases over the span of February. How would you feel having to wait week to week for that?
Yeah, I see what you mean by suiting the mobile audience, because if you're playing on mobile, you're not generally sitting down for long sessions. You're just engaging for short bursts. Yeah. Can I bring up an old event that also felt a lot like this?
Yeah.
Do you remember the 2018 Halloween event, Till Death Do Us Part?
Yes, that also fits that mold nicely, I will say.
Mm-hmm. That was another one that built up week by week, and there were a lot of people calling it very boring on the first one, but it did evolve, and I don't know. I guess I can't really think of any other examples of that model, really. Right. But,
and that's why the skeptical side of me says that this could be an A/B test, but go ahead, Tanis.
Yeah.
So I think the difference, one difference is, if you're looking at As and Audra's quest, that's a full-blown quest. If you split that up.
And I just mentioned that in the most extreme sense that you would see. I honestly don't think it would be a good idea to do that. I just strung it out.
Yeah, I mean, of course. But what I'm saying is, like, there's a lot of content there. When you do that with a mini quest, I don't feel like you have quite as much content to play with. But then again, where do you draw the line? Where do you draw those definitions on quest versus
what
mini
is a quest versus a mini quest? Because who knows, by the time this is done, this could very well represent a small, short quest.
I just kind of thought of that mid-thought. I'm like, well, I guess that also depends on the definition. But that's why I look at this as like a slice of an introduction. If this was a speech, this would be, kind of like the icebreaker. Hey, how you doing? How the hell you been? This is the long-time listener, first-time caller.
Right.
kind of thing. Um, in that respect, who knows what
Yeah.
we have in store,
Yeah.
I guess.
And from that, I just wanted to bridge that because I realized a lot of people took issue with the length of this and the fact that this is going to be split up when in reality there is precedent for putting out an entire mini quest all at once. We've never seen a mini quest like this chopped up, so I wanted to address that if you really strung it out, you could look at it as kind of an A/B test for a mobile gameplay update audience. I don't think that's what they're doing, but I just want to put that idea out there that's something it could feel like. But on the flip side, I mean, what better to get people into what's coming after this and the ultimate conclusion for this than by slowly ramping up the tension?
Well, is it that, or is a different community starting to feel it now? Like mobile is touching all of the different like sub communities in RuneScape, right?
Yeah.
Like it's touched skilling it's made skilling more AFK, right? It's made it I mean, it's generally a lot more
the
AFK.
matriarchs, which is a very mobile accessible bossing experience.
Right. And so now maybe we're seeing the same thing reflected
exactly.
in,
and that's why I suggested that. And I mean, I think anybody in the questing community who likes traditional quests and mini quests will have noticed that and said something this week. And I don't think we're at risk of seeing our Azanodra's quests and our Monkey Madnesses in the future be chopped up into, multiple episodes, TV series. Like, I don't think we're seeing that. I think that would be very bad to happen. And I don't think that is in the spirit of questing. But nonetheless, I think there is a model to be discussed and move forward about whether or not there should be an audience for a gameplay session that lasts, 12 to 15 minutes, which is exactly where mobile sits.
Can I say that there was a really bad reaction to it being as short as it was?
Oh, yeah, I know.
All over Reddit and whatnot. And I think if there starts to be more of stuff like this, because, this is pretty much a proof of concept, isn't it? I guess that gets the player base used to it. Like, now we know that we're going to get specs in short bursts, not come in expecting 2 hours and go, what is this?
Yep, precisely. And as long as there's a good balance of both, I think we'll be fine. And we just need to, see where that dice falls when mobile comes out in terms of what the expectation becomes. You can find full episodes of RSBANDB Update right here on this YouTube channel. If you found this video useful or just enjoyed it, like and subscribe or leave a comment.